Hey, it's Rob, and I'm here again. I know it's holiday week, and I got a little bit extra time off, so I figure what better time, but what better way to spend the time than to spend it with you? So, what I want to talk about right now is we need to talk about minimum wage. Minimum wage has to stop. In Western New York, minimum wage is $17. It varies in New York City depending on where you are and what industry you're in. But currently, right now, the governor is talking about taking it up to $21 an hour. And so I know that this is probably not the most popular thing in the world, but the reality is it costs 15. I know McDonald's is bringing back like a $5 menu right now. They're going to do some promotion, but for the most part fast food in most of the state is about $15 for a burger, some fries, and a soda. You want a milkshake, it's maybe a couple dollars more. And I think my camera's going to dump on me again. And hold on. So it was looking like my camera was gonna dump. But anyways, minimum wage right now is $17. There's a host of benefits that we all pay for relative to paid family leave, state disability, and there's an abundance of benefits relative to paid family leave, and if you need time off, if you have a baby, if you're a male and you have a baby, you'll be able to have time off. Ironically, in that space, apparently New York has tracked it. So, out of the 12 weeks that men are entitled to see their children, their newborn children, and stay home, they choose to stay home for only 2 to 3 weeks. So, I thought that was pretty funny. But realistically, minimum wage is a job for people in high school and people growing up. The bodega down the street, the corner store down the street, your favorite chicken spot down the street, 90% of businesses in America are mom and pop businesses. They're trying to eke out income for them, their wife, maybe a child, a second child, if they're lucky. And then they're trying to pay rent and workers' comp so that if you get hurt, and all these benefits that you need so that when you have a child, you still have at least a minimum level of coverage. But you can't keep sending this shit up. You just can't. It's got to stop. Let's not compare ourselves to California, but even Massachusetts, I believe, stopped at $10 an hour. The bodega down the street, the corner store, your mom and pop's business, they need the constant influx of young adults, teenagers, growing up and learning how to do something, right? And there's going to be some people that have to stay in that space forever, right? And, I think that we focus on that too much as a country, that minimum wage, people have to stay in that forever. Okay, well, look at here, right? Okay, if you're going to make the minimum wage argument to me, then why don't we start with all the immigration in this country that takes advantage of people in the heartland of America, in the farmland of America, in the apple orchards of New York, in the milk pastures of New York, in the cattle raising farms. Every part of agriculture in America relies on an immigration workforce where they don't even pay them anywhere near minimum wage. So the idea that we're screaming about $17 an hour to stand at the McDonald's fry bin and not have to do anything, it's why a family of four can't get, fast food for under $50. It's why a pizza and wings are $50. And if you send the minimum wage up to $21, if we, every time we have an election, we have to go out and rattle a group of people, we forget. So, the thing that bothers me on this is that we all think it stops with the minimum wage, But then everybody above the minimum wage, or people who were working at one wage at that company, suddenly all these people are starting at a higher basis than they were starting at, right? And so the people who are there, they need to be paid more. And so what we saw this past, I think, in September, was the longshoremen, right? A very well paid union, but a union that actually extols tons of labor capital. I mean, to run those cranes, those shifts, to deal with seabound, cargo all day long. But they were demanding a 44% raise. And I think they settled on 34%, something like that, because, they're going, well, I'm busting my butt all day long, right? And the guy making a burger, he's just standing there and he's not even doing his job half the time. Sorry, that's just the truth of the matter here is they nobody does their job for $17 an hour. I don't know about New York City, but upstate is like you wait for everything to get done. So we just have to say that we got to stop running on minimum wage. When it was $5, like for example, when I started, and I started working, I believe, functionally 93, 94, and I swear the minimum wage was either $2.85 an hour and going to 3.25, or it was $2.85 and I started at 3.25. But either ways, that was nothing. You were literally making nothing. And I trolled down to McDonald's, and I was happy that I got to have a hamburger. And Happy Meals were $2. If you wanted a cheeseburger, Happy Meal was like $2.50. You could supersize. Yeah, people forgot about that. You could supersize your regular Big Mac meal, which at the time was $2.99 for like another 67 cents. You could get a large fry and a bigger soft drink, right? And we used to have these things called big gulps, where you go to the corner store and you get these big sodas for 79 cents. And then this mayor of New York City, I won't say what his name is, but he went on this mission to ban everything that was banned, because it's been going on for a long time, this political bullshit of, I know what's best for you, I know what's good for you. And it's always interesting to me that they pick and choose what they want to tell us we have the ability to have access to. When it comes to medicine to save our lives, hey, no problem. That can cost you everything you've worked your life for. But you know what? Don't have that big gulp soda because you're too thirsty. But back to minimum wage. The minimum wage is $17 in New York, in Western New York, and in most of downstate New York City, it's more. It doesn't need to go up anymore. If it goes up anymore, pizza shops, all the places that you enjoy, and then what are they replaced with? In New York City, they're replaced with these high-end things that nobody can afford. Who can afford $15 cup of coffee every day? Who can afford a $10 bagel? Right? So honestly, we have this beautiful bagel company up here called Bruegger's Bagels, but a bagel with some cream cheese, you're talking $7 or $8 for a bagel. It's just like, it's just a little insane. So going forward, we have to just say that it's unfortunate that there are going to be some people, non-immigrants, Americans, that have to sit at a job where the minimum wage is probably not going to give them everything that they need. But for the majority of the businesses out there, the mom and pops who need the influx of these laborers, these people, these inexperienced people, come on, where do we get to this idea that because I'm 13, 14, 15 and I watch YouTube, suddenly I know how to do everything? It's just ridiculous. Most people today don't even know how to change the tire on their damn car. Okay? You're all riding around in your stupid cars all everywhere. All right? And I'm talking about you people under 30, and you can't even change your damn tire if there's a flat tire. Okay? Let's start there before we walk into mom and pop's business and we tell them that they got to let one more employee go, one more person go, so they can keep the one person they have to keep the business going. And so when you're talking about, again, wait times on food and minimum wage and oil changes and all those essential gas stations, and you go everywhere and you wonder why you're waiting so long for these services, is because 10 years ago, the amount of money they had to pay for labor, that minimum wage, even at $8 or $9 an hour, and even $10 an hour, it at least afforded two people for the 17 today. In New York City, I believe it's 20. So, that's two people it used to hire, and now it hires one person. So think about that. So in a service business in the morning, when you're trying to get work and you need a cup of coffee, that bodega or that coffee shop, they need 8 or 9 people serving so you can get in and out and get out there. But they can't get that anymore because politicians in our state demand that everybody have a living wage, no matter what. And then yet they go off, and if I want to recall very correctly, I mean, the governor's salary, I think, is $252,000. I think there was some talk. I think Andy Cuomo wanted it to raise it to the level of the president of the United States. I don't know if New York's governor managed to, I think it's 250. People can go research this. I'm not sure, but there was real talk about bringing it up to $400,000. And to put that in context, when George W. Bush was the governor of Texas, he made $50,000 a year, right? So even though Texas is a big old bad red state, their politicians don't go in there and get enriched and have these pensions. They're allowed to have jobs, they're allowed to have careers, and their legislative duties are a secondary function, not a career function. It's always amazing in New York State. We have the largest legislator. I think it's like over 400 people. When it comes to taxes, the IRS's, their taxes are 2 pages, right? So all their information consolidates on 2 pages. But New York State, it's 9 pages. 9 pages. You're like, man, if the federal government, which invented taxation, has 2 pages, how the hell does New York have 9? And, because they're taking money from everywhere. So you have to come back to reality on this, and going forward until the next real seismic shift in the economy, where money just jumps to that next level. Everyone just starts cashing their Bitcoin out at $200,000 or something, and we have an influx of millionaires. It's just not reasonable for us to put any more small businesses out of business so we can pay people who really have no experience, who are under the age of 20, more money to do nothing at the expense of mom and pop businesses closing more in New York State. It just can't go on anymore. The argument against the wages and minimum wage for this state in New York, it just has to stop. I'm Rob. You guys have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. And I don't know, maybe I'll talk to you one more time before Thanksgiving. But who knows? If I don't, happy Thanksgiving again. Happy Thanksgiving again. See you for now.